Hello everybody, I hope you are all doing well. My name is Ashley and this is the Library of a Silver Saint where we talk all things books. I would say that Ernie would say hi today, but I took him on like a 3-hour walk this morning and now he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. But anyway, hello, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. It is Saturday when I'm filming this, so happy Saturday if I manage to put it out on the same day. And if not, then happy whatever day it is. I hope you are doing well. I've got a coffee today, guys. I needed caffeine because, excitingly, I'm filming this just before I'm going on a live stream with Jake from Nerd Level Rising. I'm so excited. It's my first ever sort of live stream discussion and I'm really excited to go on there and meet him and finally get a chance to chat to him about just so many things. And I've really been looking forward to it. So I've got some caffeine to give me some energy because I want to make sure that I'm alert and awake. But anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I really wanted to firstly say happy August. We made it, guys. We're nearly in the burrs, you know, we're nearly in the burrs. We're nearly in the September, October, November. We're getting close to the autumn months, which is great because I love autumn so much. I love autumn so much. The leaves change colour. I love all the sort of spooky stuff. Ernie just did the biggest burp. People are going to hear you. Come and say sorry to everybody. He just did the biggest burp. I'm really looking forward now to playing that back to see if you can actually hear it. That was such a rumble. Actually, I shouldn't have invited you over now, should I? Now because is there somebody outside? There's lots of people outside. Oh God, they're looking through the window. Shh, don't let them see. Chaos as always, guys. Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again, we come as a package. Now you've apologised for burping. Anyway, happy August from me and Ernie. I hope you had the best July. And in today's video, I'm going to go through my July wrap up, all the books that I read in July. Ernie, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Listen, I'm going to go through all the books I read in July. I'm already out of breath. July was a month, and I don't mean that in a bad way. July was a month. It was a month. It was such a good month of reading. Anyway, I need to get to it. Okay, the first book that I read in July was very kindly gifted to me. It was sent to me by the author himself. So I've just got my list, sorry. Gael Song sent me his book, which is the Smokesmiths book 1, which is called Seeds of War. He sent me the audiobook for this very kindly. He sort of messaged me on Instagram and sort of said, you know, I've noticed you're quite into sort of grimdark fantasy. And I was like, yes, please, just call me Mrs. Grimdark or Lady Grimdark. He said that his book was sort of inspired and with a similar theme and sent it to me very kindly. So I listened to the audio. Audio was fantastic for this, by the way. Highly recommend the audio. The voice actor, really good. He did all the voices incredibly. So this is an indie epic fantasy. We are in a very grimdark world and we follow 3 main POVs. Firstly, we have Gimlaw, who is she's kind of like an ex-war veteran. So she's got a very bloody past. And she is currently living in a village that she sort of runs overseas with her children. And she wants to put all of the sort of history of violence that she has to bed, leave it, and just protect her children and the village that she looks after and that she lives in. So we're following her character and I really like her. She really is very powerful, a leader, very strong. We then have another character. Now, this was my personal preferred character. This was my favourite character to follow. And his name was Orberisis. Now, Orberisis is it's like a fraud, essentially. So he is a man that is pretending to be a god, but he's absolutely not a god. He's pretending to be a god and is trying to sort of cover up this secret. But he's a bit of a fraud. And he is trying to gain the following of a king and all this and the king's people by sort of tricking them into believing that he has these abilities. He also has this very strange side to him where he seems to, or seemingly, is suffering from an illness of some kind. This illness sort of really impacts him and sort of holds him back as he's trying to appear to be a god, because it kind of really knocks him back so that people don't believe him as much. So there's his character, and I found his character really intriguing because of that. And then finally we follow a character called Red Now. Red Now, very similar to Gimlaw in a way. is a man that's got a very, very bloody past, but his best years are sort of behind him. He sort of doesn't really think there's much left for him, but he's not quite ready to hang up his sword yet. I say sword, you know what I mean. He's not quite ready to quit yet, but his best years are behind him, but he still has a purpose and is wanting to find vengeance. I really found that the world was very original and a really cool concept. And one particular aspect of this that I really loved is the fact that it's called Smokesmiths, because the magic in this world is based on smokesmiths. So a smokesmith is a character who has the ability to burn various herbs, and when they burn them, it gives them these magical abilities, or these abilities, these skills. One thing I did really like about it also, though, and I'm going to be mean here. No, I'm not going to be mean. I'm going to compare it to my favourite series because I have to. It's a bit like in Empire of the Vampire, where there's Sanctus, where it kind of gives you strength, but then equally takes away from you as well. The Smokesmith power did this as well. So people that are able to burn these herbs and then utilise these abilities as a smokesmith, it gives the ability and gives power, but equally is a hindrance because it also harms the person when using it. So I found that really interesting too. I thought the world building was really good. It was really gritty. It started off like quite violent and things, which I loved, and I really liked the characters. Again, the audio was really good for this as well. My only sort of comment on it, my only criticism was I was occasionally left a little bit confused in terms of the tone. Sometimes it read very dark, very adult, and then every now and then the language that was used felt very YA. Now that's, again, I've mentioned this in a few reviews of different books, and YA is not an issue. It's not a problem for me at all. It's just that the tone sort of shifted and I didn't really know, the feeling of the book changed. And the characters that we're following are not young. They're all adults and they're all mature, and a lot of them have seen a lot of war. And so the YA tone every now and then felt a bit sort of jarring to me. However, it was a really good character-driven story with a really cool plot, really original sort of like world building and aspects to it, which I really enjoyed, and the audio was fantastic. So highly recommend this. Okay, I'm only going to mention these two really quickly because I've talked about them so much that you're just going to be annoyed with me. But oh, hello. I just love him so much. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, I know you want me to cuddle you, and I will later, but I have to do this. I finished my my buddy reread of the First Law trilogy with Leanne amongst Chaos She Reads. So we finished Before They Are Hanged and The Last Argument of Kings. Or I keep saying The Last Argument of Kings. Last Argument of Kings. I've spoken about this so many times, so I will not go into it. I will just say that I finished my reread, had the best time ever, and gained so much more from rereading and going back and revisiting this so soon after as well. The sort of like the nuggets, the Easter eggs that I sort of picked up the second time round was so fun. The layers, the themes, the characters, sorry, and the layers to them. I gained so much more on a reread. This was fantastic. 5-star, one of my favourite series of all time. Best reading of my life, potentially. Some of the best reading of my life. Amazing. If you haven't read it, please go and read it. I don't need to say any more. Now I want to be Lady Grimdark. Then my next read was Dreams of Chaos by Shauna Lawless. This is her third novella in the Gael Song trilogy. So you've got the Gael Song trilogy, which is The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, Words of Kings and Prophets, and The Land of the Living and the Dead. And then interwoven between them are the 3 novellas. And I've spoken about these before. So you've got Dreams of Fire, then Dreams of Sorrow, and then Shauna just released Dreams of Chaos. It came out in July, right at the beginning of July. I think it came out July the 3rd. And I devoured this in a couple of days. It's very small, it's a novella. And this focused on one character in particular, which is Mercer. Now, I'm not going to talk about it too much, because if I talk about it too much, I don't feel like it's a spoiler as such for him in the remainder of the series, because you're looking at Mercer as he's a child and growing up. But Mercer is one of my favourite characters in the series, in the Gael Song trilogy. He is a noble, highborn sort of son, and he is so incredibly noble and gentle and kind, which is so different to so many of the other characters in this series. And we follow him in this book, in this novella, in his childhood, as his life is sort of turned upside down because he is embroiled in this world of warfare. I think that's a game. I think that might be a game title I've nicked there. But Vikings raid, and his life is turned upside down, and he goes through huge trauma, which was devastating to read. And we watch Mirka navigate now, surviving and getting by. We see Mirka as he is sort of forced to reckon with the evil that has destroyed his home and then navigate what to do next. He's almost dancing along the line of wanting revenge, vengeance for what was done to him, but also just wanting peace and knowing that getting revenge and furthering violence isn't always the best way to do things. And you constantly see him dance over this line, very fine line in this. And there's a huge amount of emotion and personal stakes involved. And it was very moving and just incredibly impactful. An incredible novella. And I just loved it. And then this was perfect to lead into my next read, which was Daughter of the Otherworld by Shauna Lawless. I actually didn't read this next in terms of the timeline, but I'm just going to mention it because it's part of the series. Daughter of the Otherworld is Shauna's new release that is coming out in September. So excited for her. But I very kindly was allowed access to the e-arc that I applied for using NetGalley. So Head of Zeus very kindly said that I could read it, which is great. So I read the e-arc on my Kindle and I just devoured it in a few days. It was absolutely incredible. Daughter of the Otherworld is set about 150 years after the events of the Gael Song trilogy. Some people criticise the end of the Gael Song trilogy because they don't feel like it was wrapped up enough, that there was not enough closure. I personally disagree. I can see why people think that, but it also left me wanting so much more. And so when Shauna announced that it was continuing in this new series, in this new sort of part of the series with Daughter of the Otherworld, I was so excited. So I'm not going to say too much about it because me talking about it would completely ruin the Gael Song trilogy for you. So I'm not going to say anything about the plot other than it's set around 150 years later. We still follow some similar characters, some same characters. We follow some new characters as well. We still have the sort of ultimate of the sort of Fomorians, the fire mages, against the descendants with and their abilities. Of course, a huge amount of politics, a lot of fighting, a lot of men wanting to be king. So all of that is still at play, but new things are happening as well. And I don't want to say any more because I will just ruin it, but please go and read the Gael Song trilogy. Daughter of the Otherworld, I think I was a bit nervous, and I think I was talking to Abby, Books and Three Cats, about this. We were sort of saying we loved Gael Song so much, and we had no worry that Shauna wouldn't smash it, but we almost thought, will we feel as connected? Because obviously it's not the same characters, all of the same characters anyway. I felt incredibly connected. Shauna did the most amazing, incredible job of hooking me straight back in. She has this incredible ability to pack such a punch. I would say her novels are around the sort of 400-page mark, not that big. And her pacing is fantastic. She goes at such a pace where it's breakneck speed and the plot is just constantly moving forward and the stakes are constantly getting higher and higher and higher. But yet she also just allows those moments of slowness to see the world, the beautiful landscapes where they are, Ireland, and in this book, France and things like that. But also in the beauty of nature, the beauty of magic and folklore, and sort of community and family and friendships and those relationships and intimacy and romance and family. And she allows for all of those moments while still going so quickly at the same time, but you never feel rushed and you never feel that it's slow either. Like I've said it before, the pages just turn themselves. Absolutely phenomenal. 5 stars, adored it, cannot wait for the next release. And with the fact that Daughter of the Otherworld isn't even out yet, I don't know how I'm going to hold on to wait. The next book that I finished was, I got quite emotional about it when I finished it, because I finished A Time of Courage, which is book 3 in the Of Blood and Bone saga by John Gwynne. And the Of Blood and Bone saga, congratulations, John, they've just had all new covers, haven't they, to sort of follow the theme of the original Faithful and the Fallen. So They look incredible. I'm probably not going to be able to get those because they definitely won't fit on my shelf, but they are also stunning. But I finished book 3. I've spoken about this quite a lot on my channel recently. Course of Blood and Bone is a continuation of the Faithful and the Fallen series. And of course, as it's book 3, I don't really want to go into too much detail because spoilers. I would like to do a full non-spoiler review on the series at some point on my channel though. But this is everything I want in epic fantasy. The most incredible battle scenes, the most incredible friendships and relationships, animal companions, just warfare and scheming. But also, one thing I will say about this series, and I just absolutely adored this was a perfect finale. One thing I absolutely adored about this part of the series was that John goes, I would almost say, deeper and darker into it, because I've mentioned this before. You've got the sort of concept of the war of, good and evil. And in The Faithful and the Fallen, it's almost very clear who the good and the evil are. In here, it's a lot more nuanced, a lot more nuanced. There's a lot more of a grey area. And you see that actually both sides of the war are at fault in so many ways. And I found that really interesting to read. It really flipped it on its head and made it so much more layered in that way. And I really enjoyed that. It was interesting to sort of question some characters that normally you would just want to, or would assume would be good. So that was really interesting. And I really loved that aspect of this. So it was just incredible. But I just loved it. And I cried multiple times because John just does. He just destroys my emotions. But I feel really upset that I've finished all of the works from the Banished Lands so far. I've also read his short story as well that Imi mentioned. I'll see if I can put it in the link below, in the description box below. One of his short stories that goes after The Faithful and the Fallen. I read that as well like a few months ago, and it was just brilliant. But I've read everything that's based in the Banished Lands now, so I feel a bit empty now. So I'm going to move on to Bloodsworn at some point very soon. But I finished A Time of Courage, and it was everything I wanted it to be and more. So thank you, John. Thank you, John, for writing about the Banished Lands, because it means everything to me. Ship of Magic, book 1 in the Liveship Traders series by Robin Hobb. Guys, a lot of people said, because I've got very sort of contradicting feelings on Farseer. Really enjoyed lots of aspects on it, and I still have not finished it. But it's not my favourite series. And so many people said, try Liveships, because I think this one will work for you. And I've been doing the deep dive with Chris and Mads on their YouTube as part of their Patreon, where every week you sort of read like a quarter of the book and then do a deep dive into it, into the lore, into the world, into the characters, into the plot. And I have been having the best time. This book is enormous. It's absolutely huge. What is it? It's got like 900 pages in it. It's absolutely enormous. I devoured it. And if someone was to say, what is it about, Ashley? Well, I'll tell you. Serpents, pirates, and sentient ships, and a family that are so fractured in so many ways and have so many issues. Various members of the family, all of them, they're all deeply flawed. They all have so many flaws. None of them are perfect, and I love that. Some of them are vile, but yet they are so human, and that is so important. I'm going to separately do a deep dive into Liveships when I've completed the trilogy. I'm about nearly halfway through Madship Book 2 at the moment. These books are, they're so deep. They have so much depth. They're so layered. There's so much in here. Robin has been cemented as one of my favourite authors of all time just from this book. I read this book and it was cemented. She was one of my favourite characters of all time. Favourite authors of all time. Family drama, nautical family drama with sentient ships. That's all I'm going to say. I will talk about it in depth at some point, but this is fantastic. One of the best books. This was my book of the month. The final book that I read in the month of July was Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. Actually, that's a lie. It's not the final book. There's one more. The final physical book I read in July was Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocco, book 1 in the Sun Eater series. Guys, my heart ached for Hadrian Marlowe. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have been wanting to start the Sun Eater series for so long. I felt such FOMO. So many people speak about it, and I'd been put off of it for a long time because it's quite a big series, but I also worried that I wouldn't be smart enough for it. I just thought, oh no, I think it's gonna go over my head. It was fine. I had no issues at all. I understood everything that was happening, so I don't know why I had that in my head. This was absolutely phenomenal. This was beautiful. Christopher's writing is beautiful. Okay, let me gather my thoughts. Hadrian Marlowe is the main character in this. My heart ached for him. Hadrian Marlowe is a noble-born man. He's very young, incredibly intelligent, speaks multiple languages. He's gentle, highly intellectual, and all round a nice person. However, he does not fit in with his father's vision of what his son should be, of what Hadrian should be and what he should live up to and what his future will be. He is in fact the opposite of his brother Crispin, who is everything his father wants him to be. Hadrian wants a different path for himself. His father is like, no, that's not how things are going to happen. You're going to do it my way. And Hadrian doesn't want to do that. And Hadrian is very firm and stubborn in his beliefs. And he knows that his path is not what his dad wants for him. His father is a very cruel, cold man. Hadrian seeks another path for himself, a better path. And when he seeks this path, his life is flipped upside down, but in the worst way possible. Like, he is from up here, down here in what we read as seconds. You know, it happens so quickly, and it's the bottom of the bottom. It's the low of the lows. He suffers so much pain. Like, Hadrian is put through the ringer, but I love his curiosity and his unwillingness to just stop and accept his position and accept that where he is now is how other people should live their lives and how he should live his life. Where he is, what he goes through, he's just unwilling to accept it. He knows that he can still get better, and he just strives to get better and to get out of his situation. And I just love that, the courage and the like I say, the unwillingness to just give up. He does what is necessary to move forward to where he wants to be for the better of the world. And he wants ultimately, you know, a better world for himself, but he wants equality and fair treatment of all. And he's seeing that in the world that he is in now, there is not that. He makes quite a lot of mistakes, and some things he does, you're just like, Hadrian, why are you doing this? Don't do that. But you also completely see why he does it. I find him he's very relatable. I loved the characters in this as well. Some side characters, you have Valka. Valka is a character that her sort of job is primarily in sort of research of other planets and a life on other planets, which I found so interesting. And I really like her character and her relationship with Hadrian. I'm being very vague about all of this because I need to talk about it more in depth, but I really enjoyed this. The aliens. Are they the Sealsin or the Chilsin? I don't know how to say it, but the aliens are phenomenal. So intriguing. I can't wait to learn a bit more about them. And the ending had my jaw on the floor. And so ready to pick up Howling Dark. So I'm hoping to pick up book 2, Howling Dark, hopefully this month in August. So we shall see. But I started Sun Eater, and I think this is going to be one of my favourite series of all time. Finally, because I forgot to mention it earlier, the final book I read in July was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This has been on my list for quite a while. A lot of people have mentioned that Blake Crouch's books are really, really good, like full of twists and turns and super fast paced. I really enjoyed this. I did enjoy it. I felt the first 25% had me really hooked. It was fast paced. It was very sort of twisty turny, as you sort of expect that sort of techno thriller to go. It did lose me. And I have to be honest and say that I didn't really enjoy where the story went. I didn't really enjoy where it went. I thought it was going to go one way, and it didn't go the way I thought it would, but I didn't like the way that it went, which is, it's a me problem. It's a complete me problem. I may try some of his other books. I've heard really good things about the Wayward Pines trilogy, and I've heard really good things about Recursion as well. So I may give his other books a go, but Dark Matter, I enjoyed it, but not a favourite. I had higher expectations, and I was a little bit let down, so it was a little bit of a shame.
Hello, everybody. editing Ashley here, next day. Sorry that I look a bit rough. I just realised when I was watching the video back and editing it that I didn't actually explain to you the concept and the sort of summary of Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. So I apologise for that, because apparently I just expected you to know. How silly of me. It is about a man called Jason Desson, who is a physicist, scientist, but he's a lecturer, and he used to do a lot of research when he was younger, and he was going to work on big breakthroughs, but ended up not doing that. Anyway, he is kidnapped, and he is held by these people. He realizes that his world is no longer his world. His wife no longer knows who he is. His son hasn't been born, things like that. His reality has been turned upside down. And we follow with him as he tries to figure out what has happened and why his world has gone crazy. So that is the premise. I'm really sorry that I didn't tell you that. So silly of me.
That was everything that I read in the month of July. Thank you so much for listening. Please let me know below what was your favourite read of July, or what was your least favourite read of July, or just tell me about some books that you read in July, or what you're planning to read in August, or what you're currently drinking, or what your favourite snack is. Just whatever you fancy. I'm happy to listen to anything. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. It means so much to me. It would be really kind. And if you want to stick around and become a firm member of the Library of a Silversaint, then please do hit that subscribe button. I'd so love to have you here. It's like my little bookish family. I adore it so much. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.